Hi guys, welcome back to my channel ArtsyPutsy, and for today's video I'm going to show you how to fix a broken makeup because I just had very bad accident experience with makeup. I bought a Juvia's Place the Magic palette, and when it came to my house, 3 of the shadows just shattered, broken, and sad is an understatement. My heart just broke with those shadows. And yeah, I looked up how to fix makeup, and there's already a lot of video how to fix your makeup here on YouTube, but I feel like I don't know, I just want to share the experience with you. So if you want to see my experience, if you want to know how I fix this broken eyeshadow palette, just keep on watching. I don't know what it was about.
So the first thing you need is your broken makeup products, and this is the Magic Palette by Juvia's Place. And the next thing you need is an empty plate, empty bowl, empty container, anything just to put the shadows and a liquid and mix them there. And you're also going to need some butter knife or spoon just to mix the mixture and take the shadows into the plate. And I use butter knife here because I just think it's better because it has a flat surface there. And the next thing you need is an alcohol, and I use the 90% of rubbing alcohol, and I'm going to tell you why you need alcohol later on in the video. But now, yeah, I use the 90%, and you're also going to need some coins, or you can use anything that has a flat surface in it, maybe like a bottle cap or something. But yeah, I use a coin because the size fits nicely into the pan. And you're also going to need some paper towel. And this is what the palette looks like. I mean, look at that, it's sad. Isn't that heartbreaking? Especially if you always want to buy something, it's been on your wishlist forever, and then when they came, it's broken like that. I mean, it's sad. But at least it's still fixable because the shadows, it's still like pretty intact in each pan and not goes all over the place. The blue shadows didn't get mixed into the pink and vice versa, so it's still a little bit better. And the first thing you want to do is to put the alcohol into the bowl, into the plate, just to make things easier. And then I take some cotton pad and I'm going to dunk that pad into the alcohol to kind of clean and sterilize the utensils and the things I'm going to use here. And after that, I'm going to put the shadows into the plate, but make sure the plate is already dry after you sterilize them with alcohol. And then just make sure you take out all of the shadows there little by little. And you can see why I think a butter knife is better than a spoon, because it has a flat surface and the edges there, so it just makes things easier. Don't make a lot of mess, because I used spoon before and it just makes a lot more mess than I would love to have. So yeah, you don't have to go to any of the hassle to try to use the spoon, because I already did that, and I think butter knife is a better idea. And next thing I did is to kind of clean the palette first from all of the any excess powder, all the dust here, because I don't know, it irks me so bad to see the palette really dirty. So such an excess wrap, you don't have to do this, but I just really want to. And next thing you want to do is make sure that the powder shadows is completely soft and don't have any lumps in it. Crush them even further, make sure they are really soft and finely mirrored. It's like baking. When you want to mix the liquid mixture into the dry mixture, you have to make sure that the dry mixture is completely soft first before you mix them with the liquid, because it just makes the final products mixed really well and you don't get any lumps in there. It has to look like this. You can make them even softer, but yeah, this is fine. And after that, you want to put the liquid into the mixture, and I used a dropper here because it's just easier to measure with a dropper like this. And I use around 8 to 10 drops of alcohol, and you can add some more as you go if you think the mixture is still don't have a good consistency and you want to have the mixture like this, really creamy, not too dry, not too liquidy. I mean, as I said before, you can always add some more. And after you mix them really well together, put them back into the pan. And this is why I also think butter knife is better than a spoon, because there's not going to be a lot of leftover, left in the spoon, because it has a flat surface. And I tap the palette into the table a little bit just to make sure that there's not gonna be a lot of any excess air bubble inside of the shadows, inside of the mixture. And I also add some more alcohol there because I think the mixture is still a little bit too dry for me. I just want to make sure it's easier to, move around and flat them down. And after that, just kind of make sure it lays nicely and it spreads nicely in the pan and it fills the whole pan really nicely and flat. And while at the same time kind of turn the palette around little by little, while at the same time flat them down with the butter knife and also put some little bit pressure in there. And yeah, just be patient with it. And after that, I took some paper towel and laid them on top of the shadows. I lay the softer surface on top of the shadows, and then I took this, which is the kabuki brush from e.l.f. I believe, and I tapped them on top of the shadows a couple of times just so that the paper towel can absorb any of the excess liquid, excess alcohol. And I also tapped them with my finger a little bit, and I did this tap about 3 to 4 times for each pan. So you need some sort of liquid to kind of bind the shadows together because it's a powder shadow, so you need some sort of liquid to bind them when you want to press them again. If you don't use any liquid, when you press them, it will be really easy to break again, because it's like when you make a sandcastle. The sand is dry. When you make the castle, it will really easy to break afterwards, but if you use damp or wet sand, it's going to stick better, so it will hold the shape really nicely. So when you press the shadow later on, it will stick together like that. I don't know if I make any sense, but that's like the simple explanation. And this is what the palette looks like now. The alcohol kind of stained the packaging there, but it's fine, it didn't go to any other shadows, so yeah, at least it looks good. And after that, you just want to let them air dry. Don't put them in direct sunlight, just put them in a nice room temperature and let them dry for about 2 hours. And after 2 hours, it looks like this. It's time to press the shadow now. And I took some paper towel, fold them like 1 or 2 times, and then put the coin on top. And then I press the shadow now. As you can see, this is why I use the coin, because the size of it fits really nicely to the pan. You can use anything that has a flat surface as long as it's flat and can fit the pan really nicely, and you can put some pressure into it. And then I change the paper towel into these really soft facial tissues because it has a flat surface, just to make sure that the shadows looks really flat and nice and don't have this weird texture in it. And oh yeah, I forgot to tell you why I use an alcohol. So I use a 90% alcohol and not just any water, because alcohol can dissolve even faster into the air more than water, as we all know. So when the surface of the shadows is already dry, it will make sure that the inside of the shadows is also dry, and it won't change the consistency of the shadows a whole lot. I can explain that part very well, but yeah, alcohol is the better way to go than water. And I use the 90% of alcohol because it dissolves even faster, but you can always use just a regular rubbing alcohol. The 70% is completely fine. You don't have to use the 90%. So yeah, that's like simple but very long explanation. And this is what it looks like now. I let them dry in room temperature again overnight, yeah, just to make sure it's completely dry from outside and also on the inside. And this is the final palette looks like.
So that's it. As you can see, I can somewhat fix them in my opinion, they don't feel and work the same as before. It feels kind of drier and it feels kind of a little bit harder. It's not as soft as the other shadows on that palette. It still feels kind of smooth. It's still very pigmented, but it doesn't feel as smooth and not as pigmented as the other shadows from that palette that doesn't break. And it's quite understandable because of course the way you press the shadow makes quite a big difference, I think, because they're gonna be softer or harder based on the formula and also based on the way you press them on the pen. I don't know how all of those work, but I think if you press them in a factory like that, of course they use some machinery and I just press them with my hand and they're pretty inconsistent with one another. I don't know how much different it is, but it's gonna make a difference even if the difference is very slight. The pigmentation itself, it's still pretty pigmented, but it doesn't go as smooth and as long as the other shadows. You know, when I swatch them on my hand, it doesn't go as effortlessly as the other shadows from that palette, and also it feels a little bit dry than the other shadows that doesn't break. Maybe because I used alcohol, and of course alcohol tend to do that. Alcohol tend to dry the skin, dry any surface that it touches, but alcohol is the best way to go because it dissolves really fast. It is a little bit dry, that's understandable. Of course it's not gonna perform exactly the same, but it's still workable. I can still use them, so yeah, it works. So yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this video is somewhat helpful for you guys if you have broken makeup. I know it's sad, but don't throw them out completely. You can still make them work. You can try to revive them. It's not gonna be the same, but it's still better than just to throw them off completely. You know, you can still make it work. And if you do find this video is somewhat helpful or you do like this video, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and maybe subscribe to my channel. Also, lastly, thank you guys so much for watching and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys!